Well, if you spent the long weekend thinking to yourself, I wonder what great actor Kevin Sorbo thinks about public education in America, you'll be sorely disappointed. Turns out he didn't speak out on this topic. I'm going to guess he may have been too busy looking in a mirror and sort of measuring his muscles and trying to convince himself he was Arnold Schwarzenegger. But we're lucky. Kirk Cameron did speak out on public schools, and that's exactly the guy you want to hear from, so you know how good our public schools are. Kirk Cameron, you may remember from a actually funny show in the 80s that I watched called Growing Pains as I was growing up, where they shared, for the time, actually somewhat honest depictions of what it was like to grow up. And then he chose to deny all that, become a crazy right-wing Christian, and say lots of stupid things and act in movies that probably get fewer viewers than this YouTube will. He teamed up with Ken Ham, who right down the road from me in northern Kentucky, quite a beaut. Ken Ham created the Creation Museum. And I got to tell you guys, I wrote a piece in Esquire about that. Went on a trip there with Marcy, who you may know from the intertubes. And you got to go. We took pictures in front of saddled dinosaurs that people rode in the 18th century. And there had all sorts of rooms about how once abortion started, war started, and stuff like that. It was pretty awesome. But I get off the topic. Obviously, Kirk Cameron, and he did an Ark encounter visit there. They have a Noah's Ark there, where he told people how to better be married or something. Who knows? But Kirk Cameron himself, this time, we got to hear about his thoughts on our public education system. And you'd think there'd be some sensitivity there because 19 little boys and girls, little children, were just murdered, massacred by guns. If he actually believed in anything Jesus ever said, Jesus had a lot of stuff to say about the Good Samaritan and how you treat others, and a lot of things to say about the poor versus the rich. The rich didn't come out very well in the Bible. I'm going to give you a little hint if you want to read that one. Of course, that's not the Christianity that Kirk Cameron practices. He became a right-wing wingnut and really probably doesn't know anything that Jesus said in reality. His is more the Old Testament, hi, you are not worshiping me. I would like to send down a bolt of lightning and burn you to bits kind of Christianity. So he homeschools his 6 kids, which means at least 2 of them will probably grow up to be wolves. But what intelligence did he have to share with us? I want to make sure I share it all with you. American schools are becoming breeding grounds for far-left progressive agendas, such as critical race theory and gender ideology. No, they're not. Critical race theory is a course you can elect to take as a law school student. It is taught nowhere else. It's a lie. He's lying, and he probably doesn't even know what it means. But he does have the Homeschool Awakening coming up, another movie that will be seen by tens and tens of people, I'm sure. It's sad to say they're doing more for grooming, for sexual chaos, and the progressive left than any real educating about the things that most of us want to teach our kids. Again, let me tell you how dangerous this is right now when there are copycats out there who want to commit acts of violence at schools the way this son of a bitch just did. And Kirk Cameron is encouraging them. He's telling people they're like the guy that showed up at the Comet pizza place that thought Hillary Clinton was in the basement, with slaves, sex slave children. Like, he's saying to people like that who live in that world, who own guns, that schools are grooming kids, which they're not. I mean, if you go to some of these Christian schools, or let's say parts of the Catholic Church, that might be a different story. Sexual chaos, yeah. The chaos that happened at Robb Elementary was a little 11-year-old girl who had to tell the news that she had to rub her friend's blood on her. I'm having a hard time saying this without tearing up, actually. She had to lie there and fake like she was dead and rub her friend's blood on her so she wasn't shot and killed. But this guy's talking about sexual confusion and chaos, not the chaos of when somebody walks in with hatred in their heart given to them, granted to them by the likes of Kirk Cameron, and starts shooting innocent people. He shares his own experience homeschooling kids who honestly could give to you-know-what, and you should know psychological studies some of them have shown that kids who are homeschooled have trouble socializing. Again, a couple of his kids will end up being wolves, and that's on him. Final thing worth saying here is the grift. I don't know if he's grifting himself, but of course Cameron got in hot water because one of his many videos that, again, nobody watches featured Pastor James McDonald, who described as a close friend as a guest on his TV. He had on his TBN program called Biblical Illiteracy, which, by the way, again, would be Kirk Cameron, or he'd know that a rich man has a harder time fitting through the, or a camel has a harder time fitting through the eye of a needle than a rich man does of getting into heaven, and he'd know about the Good Samaritan helping out the poor and immigrants and others, and he'd know that abortion is mentioned nowhere in the Bible, nor are gay rights, or anybody being gay, but again, he doesn't care what Jesus has to say. So this guy, this wonderful guy, James McDonald, was fired from Harvest Bible Chapel. Harvest, maybe that should have been called Grooming Bible Chapel, in February 2019. Oh, sorry, it was only financial misconduct. This time it wasn't the kids. They just were stealing money from everybody. It was like, what's his name? Oh, that goofball with the curly hair in Houston who wouldn't let anybody onto his grounds. I can't think of his name right now for the life of me. You all know it. They wouldn't let anybody into the church in Houston while it was being flooded, because that's what Jesus also would have done. In case Financial Review found that Pastor McDonald misused millions in church funds. Cameron, of course, did not mention the scandal when he featured him in his show. So he's introducing grifters to people who follow him. Not much to say except for Kirk Cameron sucks and had a good career maybe ahead of him as an actor, and instead decided to become a crazy person. And that's why he's a conservative, because that's how it works out. Hey guys, hit the subscribe button. I think it's called smashing it or mashing it, the kids say these days. Turn on your notifications, please, so you'll know when the next video drops. Like this, or, call me some names, but better to like it. Comment and share with friends, family on social media. We want as many people as possible to watch. Thanks a lot, guys.